What's going on, people? Thank you so much for tuning into the 117th edition of the MMA Podcast. As always, a bunch to break down. This past weekend, we had UFC Boston. It may as well have been UFC Dublin. Conor McGregor impresses again, scoring a second round TKO. Also, Donald Cerrone, I think the first UFC fighter in the modern era to win 2 fights in the same calendar month. We'll break down that card. Also, a lot of other news to break down. Jose versus Conor, Cerrone versus Khabib, Mendez Lamas, the John Jones cocaine confessional, and this coming weekend we have a huge bout at UFC Sweden, a light heavyweight eliminator match between Rumble and Gus. We'll break that down along with the card. Let's do it, people.
You're listening to the MMA Podcast.
That's right, Lenny Hart. Thank you so much for that drop. Thank you to Eddie Bravo and Smoke Serpent who did our intro song. The song's called Jiu-Jitsu. Go and download it, buy it off of iTunes. And if you're already on iTunes, check out our friend Front Row Brian, who does the Front Row Brian show, the FRB show, every week. This week he had WWE Hall of Famer Jerry Briscoe on, along with his co-host Tom Lawler. That is an awesome show. Check it out. And thank you for listening. It's the reason why we keep doing it every week. You can find us at themmapodcast.com, on Twitter at themmapodcast. And it is myself and my good buddy Ramses, the host of the Word on the Street podcast, on tonight. Ramses, what do you hear?
Word on the Street. Thanks, Jake. Follow me on Twitter, The Ain't Jimmy Show. That's who I am. That's what I represent. I've been belligered, stabbed, beaten, shot, threatened, jailed, tasered, time after time. But I'm still here bringing you the Word on the Street.
That's right, the Word on the Street. I would say every Thursday, but just like I can't say every Tuesday for this show. We might take a week off here and there. Last week's Word was just Ramses and I playing EA Sports UFC on the PS4. Just literally bullshitting and talking about all sorts of inane bullshit. But yeah, we've got to get the coach back on soon, Coach Jamie Huey, who is a regular, because we have to talk some Uriah Hall, who fought on UFC Boston, whooped some ass for the second straight fight. The guy couldn't even score a legit KO because he fucked the guy's face up. The doctor had to stop the match. He is a killer. We will get to that fight, but really briefly before we start breaking down UFC Boston, if you are listening live and you want to call in, the phone number is 213-457-3380, or you can Skype us at the MMA Podcast. If you aren't listening live and you just want to leave us a crazy voicemail for us to play on next week's show, we can do that as well. Or if you are listening live and don't feel like talking but want to get your point through, you always can tweet us at the MMA Podcast or the Aunt Jimmy Show. So let's get into UFC Boston. Before we break the card down fight by fight, Ramses, what was your overall feel about the card?
I thought it was damn good. I was pleased with the results. Everything that was expected to happen happened, from Uriah to the Cowboy Bendo fight. I mean, it was just yeah. We all knew it was going to decision. It was just going to be
yeah.
sparring.
We'll break.
Right,
that was
right.
bizarre. Yeah, that was bizarre.
Yeah. And the main event, of course, predictable as well. So, yeah, that's what it was. It was predictable, but satisfying. It's like when you watch a movie already knowing how it's going to end, like American Sniper.
That's right. And I have you seen that? I wanted to, but dude, I've heard a lot of my friends say, yeah, I went and it kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's
Kinda
actually a
blew
terrible
ass. Yeah.
There's no, I mean, they try to like make it all deep and shit, but there's no depth to this movie at all, and it does kind of feel like
baby,
a
I'm coming
propaganda
home.
piece.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like you don't care because you're like that's that guy from The Wedding Crashers or whoever the hell he is. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. That movie sucked. So did Foxcatcher. Terrible movies.
Really?
Horrible, inconclusive endings was the problem I had with both of them, but I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
Even though it's based on history and you already know what happened.
I had a friend who saw Foxcatcher and mentioned that the plot was good. It was a good movie. Just they could have trimmed 30 minutes off it because it just drug on. It just dragged on and on and on and on. Did you sort of get that feel? Oof.
Well, see, my problem was, like, it should have been, by the time you've invested that much time, it should have been an hour longer.
Yeah.
The movie ends at the biggest question of the man's entire life.
Which is what?
Spoilers? Speaking of Foxcatcher, yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled, kill yourself.
That's right.
Basically, it ends right after the billionaire DuPont shoots Dave Schultz. He shoots him, and then you're like, all right, well, let's figure out what the fuck happened. What did Mark Schultz think about it? How did he react? Why did he do it? What was going on? Nope, the movie's over right there.
Really?
Nothing. Yep, that's it, dude.
Oh my god.
That's it.
Wow.
It made no effort to address the murder itself or the reasons behind it. It was the worst movie besides American Sniper based on someone's real life that I've ever seen.
And I bet the director thought he was being artsy by cutting the movie off at one of the biggest points.
From The Sopranos.
He thought he was fucking slick, but really he was just being super lazy.
It was stupid,
God.
and that's exactly how it ends. It's not satisfying at all. It answers none of your questions, and I don't even bother. It's over 2 hours long. Jesus. Before
we break down UFC Boston really quick, what is your favorite Boston movie? I think I got to go with The Departed. Putting you on the spot here.
Boston movie. Damn, I'm trying to think of even a fight movie that's come out of there.
Yeah, it's a movie I have not seen, but I've been told by a million friends I need to. Reservoir Dogs. Was that a Boston or a New York movie?
That is, I believe it's actually West Coast.
Oh, really? Yeah,
it's LA.
Shows me, fucking. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Boston movie. Now you got me thinking, man. What are the Celtics? That's all I know about Boston. The bombings, the terrorism, the war movies, the gangster ass movies. No. Damn, that was of New York, obviously. I'm
pulling up a list now. We have Boondock Saints and Boondock Saints 2.
Wasn't Marky Mark in a Boston movie?
The Departed, which was the one I mentioned. The movie Gone Baby Gone, apparently. Good Will Hunting. That's a good ass movie.
Yeah, I guess, but
I'm sure
there's a fight movie out of Boston. I wish I could name it. Call in or tweet.
Tweet us at the MMA Podcast. Call in at 213-457-338. Oh, holy shit, dude! How did I not think the best movie ever, where Boston was the setting, is obviously the movie Zookeeper with Kevin James, Joe Rogan, and Boss Rutan?
Oh yeah, it had Lucky in it. Mayhem Miller.
That was literally the worst movie I've ever seen.
Man.
Oh my god, the Zookeeper. That was so terrible.
Yep.
So horrible. Adam Sandler played a monkey. Sylvester Stallone was in it. Boss Rutan played this wolf.
Joe Rogan flies in the entire school. Like he would ever fucking do that.
Don Rickles is in it. Fucking yeah, Rogan's trying to nick Rosario Dawson off Kevin James and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, our boy Davey just tweeted in saying the best Boston movie ever was the Boondock Saints. Hashtag hands down. And remember, you can use the promo code RIP Davey Boy at Stamps.com for 20% off. That's 20% off Stamps.com. Enough movie chat. Let's get to the damn card. UFC Boston. The highlights of the prelims, we had Sean O'Connell and Matt Van Buren, who that boop was the best weigh-in, I think, or the best stare-down I have ever seen in my life. But Sean O'Connell wins the fight via TKO. Charles Rosa winning a featherweight bout via Darce choke in the third round. Johnny Case with a third-round TKO. Lorenz Larkin with a first-round TKO. The Irishman Patrick Houlihan and, as Mike Goldberg called him, Carl Pendred, both pick up wins. We'll also break down the first fight on the main card, frankly, because it was boring as shit. Gleison Tebow defeating Norman Park. Park, the only Irishman on the card to loses a split decision, 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. Did anything stand out for you here? Honestly, I really liked the Larkin knockout because John Howard is a bad motherfucker. He beat Uriah Hall, and Uriah Hall is one of the best middleweights in the world. Howard's moved down to 170, and Lorenz Larkin, a guy who, he beat the UFC champ Robbie Lawler in Strikeforce just a few years ago, and then he fell off hard. But a win against Howard definitely puts him back. Maybe not in the title hunt yet, but puts him back in a much better place. What stood out for you aside from the Hall, Cerrone, and McGregor fights?
I'm not entirely sure on this, but it as I took a puff of the sweet green, it occurred to me that the movie The Fighter might have been a Boston-based movie, I believe.
Yeah.
Isn't that where Mickey Ward was from? Anyway, Doomsday Howard, he finally got his. It was like Superman issue number 75, The Death of Superman, by Dan Jurgens, artist and writer. I have a signed copy of that hanging on my wall as I speak right now.
We're getting deep, son.
Right next to the pictures of my dead ex-wives.
Oh my god.
Doomsday, he got smashed, he got torn apart. It was only a matter of time. I think he's kind of not I don't want to say hacky, but he's like a filler fighter, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. And Larkin, I don't know. Somebody had to win it, I guess, and he's coming off of some crazy ass weight cut or something. How long is this gonna last? Both of these guys seem to be in their decline. From what I can remember of this fight, it was kind of corny. And that's all I have to say about that.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the prelims weren't the most exciting I've seen, and a bit of sad news really quick. I went to pull up the Joey Diaz soundboard I've used
don't tell me
tons of episodes. The site is off. The site 403 for Forbidden, all of that. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened to the site, but I was getting tons of drops. If you are listening, JRE Soundboard, we will help you stay online. All the Joey Diaz drops are awesome. I wouldn't want to have to start looking up and cutting them and getting them ready for my own use, because that would be extreme pain in the fucking ass. But yeah, JREsoundboard.com, rest in peace. We hope you come back, and until you do, I'll have to use drops of ourselves saying shit, because now we don't have drops of Uncle Joey.
He is a faggot.
I root for all black fighters solely because they're black just like me.
That's right, yeah. And let's get to that Uriah Hall fight. Uriah Hall repping Jamaica, Queens, where Yao is from as well, so it's a natural segue. Hall, man, that he is so scary. If I was a middleweight, I would be so afraid to fight this dude because man, he beat Lieben up so bad the corner wouldn't let him go out for the second round. He beat Thiago Santos with a fucking bone sticking out of his foot, and now he 3 minutes and 37 seconds was all it took for Uriah Hall to beat Ron Stallings up to the point where a medical doctor would not let Stallings go on. A really quick note, Rogan and Dana White were both saying like, oh yeah, that shouldn't have been stopped. If this was in Vegas, it wouldn't have been stopped. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Ron Stallings, it literally looked like he had like a pocket in his eye. It was just completely torn. It was a good maybe, I don't know, 1.5 inches of good like surface area of just tissue and viscera and blood. Like the skin was hanging down. Dana White and Rogan, I don't know if, what Stallings did, if he talks shit about your kids, your wife, but Rogan and Dana White really wanted to see Stallings apparently like lose his eye or something, die in the ring. But yeah, Uriah Hall looks scary. I think this should put him maybe in the top 15. If not, he's definitely a win away from being in the top 15. Let me pull up the rankings now just to give you an idea of who is in the top 15. Rounding out the bottom 5 of the ranked fighters in the middleweights, we got Thales Leites, number 11. Costa Philippou, who Uriah called out, at number 12. Mark Munoz, Tim Boach, and Brad Tavares, 13, 14, 15. Honestly, I think Uriah Hall could beat all 5 of those guys, and it's only a matter of time before Uriah Hall and Kelvin Gastelum are UFC champions. Ramses, what were your thoughts on the fight? Uriah Hall, a guy who you've had on the word on the street maybe, 4 or 5 times?
5-time word on the street champion.
And Kelvin's at 6, right?
Kelvin's at 6. That's correct. Yes, and this fight, it was one of Uriah Hall's best, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we saw he retired Chris Lieben on the stool, and now he disfigured Ron Stallings for life, man. Ron Stallings came in there acting like Mitch Green, but Uriah Hall Mike Tyson his ass, all right? He literally elbowed and punched his part of his scalp off. It looked like Arnold when he takes damage in the Terminator movies, and then they have to start resorting to CGI because, well, that shit was real, all right? That shit happened to Ron Stallings. He's lucky it got stopped in time. Otherwise, I do believe, and I was predicting, that Uriah was going to murder him and kill him. And I know you guys think it's a joke, haha. No, he was going to kill him. That was the game plan that we talked about. He's a good friend of mine, like I said. It was a great fight. Stoppage was definitely right on time. I mean, the man's face was hanging off. He was butchered. It was the only reason you couldn't see his skull was because there was blood in the way. Yeah, it was disgusting. Yeah. And I love the fact that, Uriah, instead of apologizing this time, he's moved on. He made another great life-changing speech that ended racism forever. You can check and look
MLK
it up.
Day.
That's right. There has not been any police shootings or riots since Uriah Hall made his speech, and I want to thank him personally on behalf of the future of the world. Thank you, Uriah. It was a damn good fight. Right. He's indestructible. He's a top 5 fighter in my mind. I don't even know what you're talking about. 15. No, it's a damn travesty. He'll get there. He'll get the belt. And him and Kelvin, their reign will be long and terrible. Terrible in the good way for us, but you know what I'm saying. I hope they all both get corrupted and go full John Jones eventually.
Damn.
God bless them. They deserve it. They're hardworking gentlemen. That's the word on the street.
That is the word, and I hope Uriah Hall gets a ranked fighter next. He's much better than folks think he is, and he's getting better and better and better. You know, when he was in the Tough House, he was still a relative, you know, newcomer to the sport, and man, the more he keeps developing here in front of our eyes, it's gonna get scarier and scarier. Almost like a John Jones, a T.J. Dillashaw. You know, they are in this elite arena, and they keep getting better and better, and to see where the ceiling is for Uriah Hall is going to be very interesting. Let's move on. Donald Cerrone taking on Benson Anderson, and everyone thought that Ben won. Can you call it a robbery? You know, this overuse of the word robbery in the sport is a little crazy. I think, you know, that word is very overused. I would only use the term robbery if a fighter in a 3-round fight, like, obviously won all 3 rounds and still lost. Because going to the decision, I thought, man, I think Ben won 2 rounds to 1, but that was so close of a fight. If this goes to Cerrone, I wouldn't be shocked, and it did. A lot of Twitterers were saying it was karma because Benson has won a lot of fights that fans didn't think went his way, but the judges did, and he ended up getting the win. So Donald Cerrone, like I mentioned in the intro, becomes the first UFC fighter in the modern era to win 2 fights in the same calendar month, just 2 weeks apart. Really, really wild. Hats off to Donald, who will be taking a break after this until UFC 187, apparently. We will break down the Habib fight after we break down the whole card. But what did you think of the fight? And Donald Cerrone, that guy is an animal.
I just want to say about the robbery real quick. A friend of mine, Alex Jones, he always talks about how the government sometimes stages events to condition people to what's coming next. The bogus decision for the home team, for the Irish, I believe that was 100% conditioning. They wanted to prepare everybody watching for the fact that come hell or high water, Conor McGregor was going to win his fight. He could have been knocked out and pronounced dead on the mat, but I swear to God, he would have gotten a 50-26 easily on the judges' scorecards, even being knocked out. And this was all a setup for that. And I thought it was a genius move. Only, I mean, this was Vince McMahon level manipulation here of the crowd and audience watching at home. God bless the UFC, best organization in the history of mixed martial arts. I buy it and support every pay-per-view and their product. I love them to death. I'm just calling it for what it is, people. And as far as the Cowboy Cerrone versus Bendo, the fight that nobody demanded, nobody wanted to see. Yeah, they gave it to Cowboy because how pathetic would it be if he'd been swept? Like he was the goddamn Astros at the World Series. We never got over that one here in Texas, people. I've never even seen baseball, and I know that is it's the worst thing that could happen, and they didn't let it happen to Cowboy. He got his paycheck, he got his sweet revenge. But what you saw was a sparring match between friends. The fight was probably a work. Word on the street.
You heard it here first, people. The fight was a work.
Fight was a work, people.
That's right. We got drops for days, people.
And I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not against hitting women.
That's right. Shout out to the boy, the ninja who before you start tweeting hate at him, we took him way out of context with that drop. But moving forward, the main event, Conor McGregor. Everyone knew it was a setup. Man, there are two sorts of works. There's the work where there's the predetermined winner and the fight is actually a work. I don't know if I'll go as far as to say I believe in those. But then the work I think we all have got to know exists is the work where you put a much better fighter against a much shittier fighter because you're just trying to get that fighter a win. And this is what happened here. Dennis Siver is not that shitty, but stylistically, Conor McGregor is a nightmare for him. The UFC is shielding Conor from wrestlers up to the title fight, which, I don't know, it's probably smart. You know, Conor versus Aldo is going to make so much money, and the UFC knows, you know, is Conor going to lose if he fights a wrestler? Not necessarily, but we haven't seen him get tested by a wrestler, and there are a lot of flashy strikers who look amazing until you put him in there with a wrestler, and the wrestler closes the distance and makes his night miserable. I think once the title fight happens and the UFC sort of cashes that check, we'll see more wrestlers fighting Conor, because there is a ton of wrestlers at featherweight, whether you're talking Frank Edgar, Chad Mendez, Ricardo Lamas, even Cub Swanson has gotten better with his takedown skills. Conor, it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. But the UFC knew that Conor needed one more win before they could give him that title fight. And everyone's saying, "Oh well, Conor's 5, so why doesn't Aldo fight the 1, 2, 3, or 4 ranked guy?" That's bullshit. It's not bullshit, because Aldo has already beaten all of them. Some of them he's beaten twice. So this is a fresh matchup, and obviously as far as, you know, shit talking, the build up, the money that this fight's going to make, this will probably be the biggest money making fight in the history, the short history of the UFC's 145 pound division. Enough waxing poetic about the title, though. Conor said he'd finish it in 2 minutes. It took him a little longer than that. It took him 2 rounds. He finished it 1 minute 54 seconds into the second round, so it took him about 7 minutes, but he still finished the job, drops Siver, and then moves into the mount and lands strikes until Herb Dean called it a match. What did you think about the fight? And are you sort of in the same boat, thinking that once Conor gets that title shot, the UFC is probably going to stop shielding him from fighting wrestlers, because either he'll have the belt, and you know that will be, honestly, if he won the belt, they'd probably make a rematch. But either way, once Conor's done with Aldo, whether he has the belt or not, he's gonna have to start fighting some wrestlers.
I haven't told anybody this, but I was actually in Boston this weekend for the UFC, and once the main event started, Siver versus Conor McGregor, I snuck into Dennis Siver's warm up room, and there was an iPad laying right next to his locker. I remember it because it was pink, and I was like, "Pink, what the hell?" And so I take a look at the iPad. It's a live stream of Dennis Siver's wife with a gun to her head.
What?
That's right, people. You know, and I could see in the background of the hostage stream that they had the fight on, and they were watching, and that's how I saw the fight, through this iPad. You know, I was like, "Move your fucking head out of the way, bitch! You're blocking the fight." But she couldn't hear me. It was a one-way stream only. Of course, Siver did go down as expected. he did. It was embarrassing if you look at it again. I mean, come on, it was another phantom punch. This is the second one in a row for Conor, where he knocks the guy out without even hitting him. Seaver fucked up the finish. He oversold it. He went down on a fake knockdown. But to my chagrin, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised anymore, everybody believes it. And now Conor McGregor is the real. He's the best thing since Chael Sonnen. Bullshit. I'm sick of this guy already. Get this leper clown out. I'm done here with him. I don't care what happens next. He can fight in the damn stadium. I hope it fucking rains that day. Fuck Conor McGregor. Word on the street.
We got hot takes coming in. Hot takes all day. If you have a hot take, once again, the phone number is 213-457-3380, or you can Skype us at the MMA Podcast. We do have a couple fights to break down, a lot of announced fights after this card, but I think that is all we have for UFC Boston. The bonuses, the fight of the night goes to Sean O'Connell versus Matt Van Buren, and the performances of the night go to Conor McGregor and Lorenz Larkin for their TKOs. So enough with that card. Let's get to the news. And I guess the biggest piece of news that we can take from the card is Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor. The fight is probably going to take place in May on Memorial Day weekend in Las Vegas. I'm not sure whether this would be the headliner for the card. I've heard whisperings of John Jones making his return to fight the winner of Alex Gustafsson and Rumble Johnson. And this would be the co-main, which, man, if you had a card, it was Gus Jones 2 and Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor. Man, we're talking huge money. We're talking money on scale with like the Weidman Silva 2 card. That would be a fucking blockbuster of a card. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that card builds itself up. Whether we get a stacked pay-per-view card or they just rely on the main and co-main event like they did at UFC 175. But what do you think about the fight? The one weakness Conor has really got to work on between now and May, in the next 4 months, is leg kick defense, because he took some pretty good pops against Dennis Seaver. And if Dennis Seaver is going to land thudding leg kicks on you, it is scary to think what Jose Aldo is going to do. He is known for just chopping people down, whether it's Uriah Faber. He has some amazing kicks. And yeah, Conor has awesome movement, and I think this is going to be a really close fight. But if Conor does not learn how to avoid these kicks, whether it's keeping a little more range, whether it's learning to check him Weidman style, he's got to be very careful about Aldo's leg kicks. I think it's going to be a fun fight. Aldo will be a big favorite, and you'll see a lot of folks on Twitter and on MMA forums saying that Aldo is completely out of Conor's league, but I really don't think that's the case. Conor has some amazing skill, and we haven't seen it tested nearly to the opponent level of an Aldo. But yeah, this is going to be a fun, tough fight. There is going to be a shitload of talking. If you thought Chad Mendez could talk a lot of shit, just wait for this title fight in Las Vegas in May.
I have not been impressed with Conor McGregor at all, even one bit. Where he needs improvement, definitely weakness I saw. He needs to start learning how to actually make physical contact with his opponents when he's trying to knock them out. Because eventually, even the most dedicated Irish ginger is going to start asking questions with these phantom punches, all right? He has to make some sort of effort to at least make physical contact when he throws a punch with his target in order to sell the finish. I believe that's the only criticism I have for this man. He'll never fight another honest fight for the rest of his life. They're going to set everything up from now on. I mean, just look at the last two knockouts. He did not even hit his opponent. That's all I have to say. You guys tell me where I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Show me. Word on the street.
Word on the street. And our winner in the co-main event, Donald Cerrone, he's matched up in a fight versus Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 187, which I didn't do my proper pre-show diligence. I didn't look that up. Oh, all right. That looks like it's going to be the same card in May in Las Vegas, UFC 187. We're going to have maybe both of these fights on that card. Cerrone versus Khabib. The winner would almost certainly get a title fight against the winner of Pettis versus Rafael Dos Anjos, unless Dos Anjos won or it was really a controversial finish and for some reason they wanted to run a rematch, which the UFC has been doing a lot of recently. But the winner of this fight should be next in line. Who you got in this fight? I want to go Cerrone, but goddamn, Khabib Nurmagomedov looks so scary. He has fought some really good fighters too. He took on Dos Anjos back last year. Pat Healy, he threw Abel Trujillo around the ring like it was nothing. The guy's 22-0, threw Gleison Tebow around like it was nothing. Threw Thiago he knocked Tavares out pretty early. But yeah, the guy's judo is on point, and Donald Cerrone, I don't know if his grappling skills are at that level. With saying that, I also want to say that Khabib probably isn't on the striking level that Donald Cerrone is, but you see a good striker against a good grappler, 9 times out of 10, the grappler is going to win the fight. Like WBG says, grappling wins fights. I don't know. I am going to be rooting hard for Donald Cerrone here, but if I really had to make an unbiased choice, I think Nurmagomedov wins it.
I'm just going to hope that Nurmagomedov wins it because I'm honestly just as tired of Cerrone as I am of Conor McGregor at this point. And
Why? Cerrone's the shit.
I'm tired of seeing him on TV every week, and it's like, oh man, what crazy stunts was he doing between the fights this time? Like, give me a break. He needs to disappear for a while, right? There's some burnout that occurs, and honestly, to see him actually win this fight and then go up against Pettis again after he was butchered and dismantled by Pettis the first time, nobody wants to see that. I mean, he has no chance whatsoever. All right, it's not that he's improving. He's just been grinding it out pretty tough.
I'm almost sure a rematch with Cerrone and Pettis would result in a much closer fight. Cerrone is almost like a modern day BJ Penn, where he has had fights where he goes in and he's dynamite and he lights the other dude up, and he has fights where he just does not look motivated at all. And like the Nate Diaz fight, show me Conor versus Nate Diaz, or sorry, Cerrone versus Nate Diaz, and then show me his fight against Miles Jury. These are two completely different fights, and it's sort of to take a line from when Penn was still around. What Donald Cerrone are we going to see step in the cage?
you obviously have not seen the Cerrone versus Pettis fight recently, because if you were to go back and watch it,
oh yeah,
you wouldn't be saying these things.
He looked super flat, and he finished him in the first round. That's what I'm saying though.
Broken like Batman.
Diaz versus Cerrone, he maybe even looked worse. Like, I think Cerrone absorbed more punches in that fight than any other lightweight in UFC history. He looked flat as fuck in both fights, but then he has fights where he comes out and looks just like the baddest motherfucker ever. Who was the Brazilian he fought? Was it Adriano Martins or someone else recently, where he fucking went in and just stomped him? He looked awesome against Barboza, looked awesome against Jim Miller, looked awesome against Alvarez. He's won 7 in a row.
The work with Melvin where he knocked him out with a phantom head kick.
Hey man.
I'm done with Cerrone. I'd rather see Nurmagomedov take it and then get the title shot. That's just what I want to see. That's it. Yeah, sorry, Cowboy. That's all I have. I want to see something new. And he was so destroyed. It was so one-sided. He should never, ever fight Pettis again or get the chance or honor or privilege to do so. That's how I feel.
Are we looking at a future lightweight champion in Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Hell no. Pettis is going to fuck him up too. Word on the street.
Pettis is a high-level grappler. I think Nurmagomedov judo grappling-wise. People, do not drink a Diet Coke before the show or else you'll be burping like a motherfucker. I think Nurmagomedov can get away with a lot more against Cerrone than he could against Pettis. A couple more fights I want to break down. A fight that was made this past week, Mendez versus Lamas, UFC Fight Night 63. That's going to be April 4th. It's going to be the main event of that fight. Before we break down the actual fight, what did you think of the video Ricardo Lamas made? Conrad McGillicuddy. Conor had a lot of words for Lamas. The post-fight presser actually seemed a little bothered by it. I thought parts of it were really corny, but parts of it were really funny, dude. Like basically, if you have not seen it, Look it up. Just search Ricardo Lamas Conrad McGillicuddy video on Google, and he plays a parody version of Conor McGregor. Is wearing this fake beard and like wakes up and like shadow boxes in the mirror in front of himself for like 4 hours. Pretty funny. Conor had a pretty funny comeback saying like, man, he's got a lot of time on his hands. How about you go out and fucking train some? But nonetheless, what did you think about the Conrad McGillicuddy parody vid?
What I want to know is, I thought it was funny. Yeah, some parts were corny as hell, but it was good, man. It was good. It had some good. You could tell enough was there to where some thought went into it. But also, another hint here, I want to know what the hell they were smoking when they made that. Because
My name
that had drugs written all over it. If not weed, it was probably cocaine. Wasn't there a scene there where he's doing cocaine?
I'm not sure. I was pretty high when I watched it the first time, but I'll play our listeners the first few seconds of it while Ramses and I light it up. Smoke trees, people. Pack it if you got it.
My name is Conrad McGillicuddy, and I'm a professional mixed martial artist. This is a day in the life of the best pound-for-pound fighter in the history of the universe. Do you understand the magnitude of that statement? That means I'm better than any man that's ever walked the earth. Even better than cavemen or dinosaurs. I'm even better than dinosaurs. And aliens. I'm even better than aliens out there in outer space out there.
I don't know if he was smoking Blue Dream or what. Really quickly, is it racist? Because I don't think an American fighter could get away with, I don't know, making a video about a Mexican fighter, an African fighter, an Asian fighter. Like,
yeah, if he was doing a Chinese voice.
Imagine if it was about to be like Kelvin versus Dung Young Kim, and Kelvin comes out with a video using his fingers to like slant his eyes, going "Kinker, kinker, fly lies." Like, everyone would be freaking the fuck out, but Buddy's white, so you're allowed to make fun of his dialect all you want.
Yeah, the unspoken rule in the world is, and it is unfair, but it's the way it is. If it's white, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? That's where that term came from. And no, that wasn't offensive at all. It's obvious they were making fun of one person, not all Irish people.
Yeah.
And yeah, playing up the fact that he is Irish, but that was in no way attacking Ireland. Just like when you make fun of like Vanderlei, you're not making fun of all Brazilians. You're just making fun of his dumb ass.
I'm a Vanderlei Silva.
He's a Neanderthal.
I'm the best fighter on earth. That was a pretty funny video, but let's get to the fight. Ricardo Lamas and Chad Mendes going to be main eventing UFC Fight Night 63 on April 4th. I'll pull up the location of that in 1 second, but I am heavily leaning toward Chad Mendes. Lamas is good. Lamas deserves to be a top 5 fighter at 145, but Chad Mendes, god damn. Against anyone not named Jose Aldo, who is maybe the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet currently, he doesn't just win, he steamrolls him, man. And credit to Chad, because Chad came into the sport as a wrestler, as a college wrestler, but in the last year or two, his striking has been turned up to a level where he's maybe, aside from Aldo and Conor, the best striker at featherweight. Definitely has the strongest hands. I mean, he can put anyone out with a punch. Lamas, he's good. He's still getting better. He's a good wrestler. He's a good striker. If Conor is unable to beat Aldo, I think a fight between Lamas and Conor would make sense. But I'm taking Chad all the way here. And I've made this point before. I think I said it a few months back, but I'll say it again. We're getting to a weird point with a lot of weight classes where you have your 1 and 2 guy, and they're just far and away the best. Perfect example is Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos. Junior, I think a lot of fans and media would agree that Junior is probably the second best heavyweight in the world. But, you just can't keep making the fight if the number 1 guy is going to keep smashing him. And I think we could see a Mendes versus Aldo 3 in 2015 or maybe 2016. But if Aldo wins that again, it's almost like Mighty Mouse and Joe Benavidez. It's like you've got a guy who beats everyone else in the weight class and is the number 2 guy. But, if you've seen him fight the number 1 guy 2 or 3 times and seen him get smashed every single time, I mean, we rarely, I don't know if we've ever seen a quadrilogy fight in the UFC. We've seen a lot of trilogies, but quadrilogies, I can't think of one. And we have a few fights where we could see it a 4th time going down the road, thinking, Cain and Junior. Probably not Cerrone and Bendo, just because their 3rd fight was so terrible. Man, Bendo Cerrone 1 is my favorite fight of all time. So exciting. And Bendo Cerrone 3 put me to sleep. That was so disappointing. But getting back on topic, Mendes, he's in a weird spot. If he fights the champ Aldo again and loses to him, he might need to think about changing weight classes, because nobody's going to want to see Mendez Aldo 4 if Mendez won the first 3 fights. And yeah, the first fight was a little controversial. He grabbed the cage to spin himself around and get the KO. The second fight was just that was a fun fight. And the third fight obviously is not taking place yet. But I am going on too much of a tear here. I got to slow myself down. Ramses, Chad Mendes versus Ricardo Lamas. Who you got?
I will go with Ricardo Lamas, like based on the video alone. It accomplished its purpose in that way. He's got a new fan in me. I don't like Conrad McGillicuddy, so I'll go for Ricardo Lamas based on that alone. And Chad Mendes, nothing against him, but yeah, it's how many times we get to see this shit. I'm all done with rematches. I wouldn't mind if we never saw another rematch again in the UFC forever. It should be one and done. Move on to the next guy, unless there's like some sort of grave controversy or something, but that's pretty rare. Nah, it's like you shouldn't have to beat a man's ass twice. You made your point the first time. And yep, so Lamas, I guess I'll go for him. I'll support him.
You know, it's funny, really quickly, before we move on to the next topic, and Mendes versus Lamas will be April 4th at the Patriot Center in Fairfax, Virginia. So if you're over there on the East Coast, definitely get a ticket, people. Man, you say you hate rematches and never want to see them. Think about how prevalent they are. I mean, you can look at the title picture of literally every weight class, and there's a rematch that's either in play or about to happen. At flyweight, we could be very close to a rematch between Dodson and Mighty Mouse. Bantamweight, the next title fight is going to be a rematch with Barrow and Dillashaw. Featherweight, we just saw a rematch with Aldo and Mendez. Lightweight, we could soon see a rematch of Pettis and Cerrone. Welterweight, Dana tried to make a rematch with Hendricks and Lawler. Middleweight, if Weidman gets past Belfort, we could see a trilogy with Spider. Gus versus Jones 2, Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez 4 might happen late 2015 or 2016. It's fucking wild, and I don't know if it's a problem necessarily, but man, I do agree that I would like to see less rematches. Really quickly, a note on Verdum versus Kane. They've agreed to June 13th in Mexico at UFC 188. Apparently, we've broken down the fight on prior episodes, so I just want to throw it out real quick. Do you think Kane can be healthy for the fight? And Can he stay, looking forward years ahead? I mean, since Kane beat Brock in like 2010, he's fought 2 different people. He fought Bigfoot Jr., Bigfoot Jr., or Junior Bigfoot Jr., Bigfoot. I like Kane. I think he seems like a cool dude, but I hate having a heavyweight champ who is as injury prone as, like a Tony Pettis or something. It's like, come on.
They will roll Kane out in a wheelchair if they have to for this fight, yes. He's going to fight no matter what. It has to happen. It doesn't matter what condition he's in anymore. He's... it's either that or he's fired. And trust me, the UFC's already had this conversation with him. They probably sat him down and they're like, "Look, Kane, we're sick of your bullshit." And then they've pointed out the money that they made in UFC Mexico and what they could have made. The embarrassment that was that card. And it was all thanks to Kane. He ruined it. He is the Mexican John Jones. He pulled a UFC 151. He should be ashamed. As a person of Hispanic descent myself, I'm embarrassed for my culture, my people. Cain Velasquez, I don't believe in him anymore. I hope that he gets healthy and heals just so he can get broken apart again. And then I never want to see him again in the octagon. And that's how strongly I feel about it. Unless he tweets at me or follows me or says something nice and shit. Then I got his back. And that's the word on the street.
It is the word on the street. We got a few more topics to break down, but you know what time it is, people. It's time for the 10 solid seconds of sports, where we break down all sports that aren't MMA. Seattle mounts a comeback of the century against Green Bay, and New England blows out Indy with deflated balls. Both teams punch their ticket to Super Bowl 49. The Broncos hired Gary Kubiak as head coach, while Peyton Manning's future remains a question mark. Russell Wilson looking to make get his second Super Bowl win, his third season, while Tom Brady makes his sixth appearance in the big game. It's going to be fun. Super Bowl 49. Even if you don't follow sports, you still got to follow the Super Bowl, people. It is a holiday. Let's get to the John Jones cocaine confessional that went down last night on Fox Sports 1. I read a piece on it by Deadspin's Greg Howard that was really funny. And the name of the piece was John Jones' interview last night was a ridiculous, hilarious sham. And you know, it is like I keep getting to, the UFC is just getting more and more transparent with all the bullshit. If you have heard anything about John Jones, it's the last few years. The guy loves to party. The guy does coke a lot. The guy, this was not a thing that he did one time. But in the interview, he's like, yeah, I did it in college a few times, but that was it, and this is the only time I did it. Like, oh, true, you're the unluckiest person ever. Like, really. His mom tweeting out that he left the rehab facility a day after he checked himself in. There's a dude on Twitter named Mike Stud who yesterday tweeted, "Raged with Bones Jones last night, LOL, dude's scary," and then quickly erased it. This paragraph, and then I'll pass it to you, Ramses. This paragraph really just encapsulates it perfectly by Greg Howard. He says, "It was a strange and overall bullshit interview, but one much in line with what I wrote about Jones in a profile Deadspin ran last month. The only reason this episode matters isn't that it's particularly novel or tragic that a prideful 27-year-old rich dude who beats people up for a living indulges in an expensive drug that allows him to bathe in his own excellence well into the morning, but that he fails so spectacularly in pretending that he is, in fact, the same choir boy he was growing up. It's cosplay. It's bad cosplay." And for a while, I wanted to get behind the whole John Jones troll thing, and a few of the videos he made were funny, but it's just like he's so fake, and it's so ridiculous how bad he is at faking that he's a good person. Ramses, what did you think about the interview that Deadspin called a ridiculous, hilarious sham?
I thought it was magical, and I do applaud John Jones for having beat the odds, beat addiction, become a role model, a hero again to his friends, family, the children out there that watch every UFC fight. I commend him. He was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but he told you himself, after 7 hours of interrogation by multiple doctors, they pronounced him healed. And they even kicked him out of rehab. He wanted to stay. He wanted it more than anything. He wanted to be there for weeks if he had to be. But, 7 hours later, the doctors, they said, you're too healthy, John. You have so little of a drug problem that you've got to go. You've got to go. If you're in love with the cocoa.
He
God
get
bless
it on
John
the
Jones.
lolo.
He is the greatest of all time.
He is the greatest. Our boy Steve Mazzagatti tweets us saying, allegedly John Bones Jones was trying to sex Clarissa Thompson. Allegedly. We got hot takes, people. Hot takes coming through. If you want to tweet us, we're at the MMA Podcast. You can call us 213-457-3380 with your hot take. Sort of a funny bit of news about Phil Davis. Davis says he wishes he could get away with doing cocaine. I thought it was funny, but I saw a lot of mixed responses to him. A lot of folks were saying it's sour grapes. You wish you could be as good as John. This and that. Did you think it was funny, or did you think of it more like just sour grapes from old Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis?
Yeah, Phil Davis, man. Is he still in the UFC? Where's he even been? Nobody cares about him. He's probably in love with Coco too. I bet you anything he stays up late at night just having his girl answer his phone for when his coke dealer calls him back. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just talking here. Word on the street.
Phil actually will be on the main card of this weekend's UFC Sweden bout or card. He'll be fighting Ryan Bader. But yeah, enough about potentially self-incriminating evidence about late night calls to Phil Davis. Let's move forward to Dave Herman. Apparently, he leads the police on a car chase and then gets tased. Ramses, before I let you tear in, you gave me some audio to play with the Dave Herman arrest. So let's listen to him get the police, I think, tell him to get on the ground, and then he takes a step toward one of the officers, and then they just tase the ever-living fuck out of him. Here we go, Dave Herman.
By law, you're required to show me ID. This is
get on your knees now.
On your bottom. On your stomach.
Turn around.
On your stomach. On your stomach. Is this really necessary? All I did was ask to see my ID. Seriously? This is very confusing.
And yeah, maybe is there any more I should play, Ramses, or is that pretty much the gist of it?
In a couple of seconds, he actually says something about like that you'd be laughing if I was black or something like that.
Oh wow! Here, yeah. Yo, fuck this loud ass truck.
Put your hands up on the steering wheel.
They then came up to the vehicle.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it's right after this dumb woman quits yapping.
And saw that I was recording.
Child in there?
And were more than happy to show me some identification.
Anybody else in here? Is there a child in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, you don't have a warrant.
Huh?
You don't have a warrant?
I'm gonna have you step out.
I, too, would like to see 3 forms of identification. You are required to show us that.
3 forms of identification?
Yes.
Hasn't learned his damn thing.
Required to show me identification to prove that you are a police officer. Is that true?
Yo, fuck these loud trucks in the background. This dinging is about to make me shoot myself in the face.
Yeah, I hear you, man. He says something like,
All I did was ask, who are you, sir? Please
I don't have 3 forms of ID. All I've got is my tag, my badge, and that's it, okay?
You don't have a driver's license?
Yo, what is with all these modern day freedom nuts who were like, yeah, I can lead the cops on a fucking car chase, but then when you want to take me out of the car, it's like, I would like 7 forms of identification. I would also like your police chief to call me right now. I would also like to see your log books of arrest. I'd like your gun. I would like to have your badge. Go ahead and take your uniform off for me, and I'm gonna make sure that that's not a fake uniform. Like, come the fuck on, people.
The worst part is this woman has just seen her husband be tasered by the cops, so she knows they're not fucking around. Yeah. And she still like follows and keeps repeating the same shit. I need to see 3 forms of identification. Like, she probably saw that on some website or YouTube video one time. No, they don't have to show you shit if they're dealing with the situation at the time. They don't know who the fuck you are. And also, it's just totally stupid of this woman and of Dave Herman to pull this stunt with an infant in the car.
Right?
Idiots.
Seriously.
You've been taught as kids, as men, we don't hit women. Well, that's bullcrap.
That's right, Ninja.
Make your stand when you're a single guy and it's just you, not when your entire family and little infant is in the damn car.
Yeah,
with
you have a fucking infant in the back seat, and you're gonna choose that. You know, I'm an American, and police aren't allowed to pull me over when I'm speeding because I'm an American citizen, and I paid for these damn roads, and this is against the Constitution. Like, shut the fuck up! It is. It so is.
Yep, and guess where it got him. Fuck, this is gonna be expensive for him. He looks fucking stupid as hell, and he put his entire family in danger. Honestly,
but I do need to thank Dave Herman, because if it was not for Dave Herman, Ramses and I may not know one another. The first time we ever talked, you called into the MMA podcast saying that you thought the fight between Dave Herman and Big Nog was a work. So Dave, Thank you for throwing that fight. Thank you for getting tased, demanding 3 forms of ID. God damn. So, this is just, man, white people. Come on, whites. Get it together.
People like trying to like become a lawyer on the spot with cops. It's like,
right?
It doesn't matter even if you are 100% correct. He's telling you to do something. This is only going to end one way. You either do it, well, 2 ways. You either do it, or you're gonna get your ass whooped by the police. That's how it goes.
And what if they were lawyers? They don't realize, if you do ask the cop to do something that by law he's required to do, and he doesn't do it, then pretty much your charges are going to be dropped immediately because they didn't follow protocol. So you should be hoping the cops not doing what's required by law of him to do, because then you're going to get off. Don't fucking jam in his face. Well, do you have a driver's license? Like the cop shows him his badge and his fucking police ID, and the lady's like, well, you have your driver's license. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like you're just playing dumb at that point. Like, you might be arguing from a correct standpoint, but now it's common sense. It's obviously a police officer that's pulled you over. It's not a bunch of gang members in costumes, like she said. That could have been just what they're pulling over people and writing them fake tickets and tasering the ones that put up a fight. And that's what these fake cops are up to these days. Give me a damn break. This whole thing is laughable. It's embarrassing. It's outraging. They should honestly. I don't know if they're fit to raise a child. Honestly, they have no discernment, no judgment whatsoever, and no concern for their own. I mean, it's even if you're right, you can't. You can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. That's the way it goes. That's just the way it goes.
And of course, Adam Kokesh is backing it, which, I don't know, he seemed like a nice guy on the JRE, but what I've seen from his videos, he basically just fucks with cops until they have no other choice. Trolls the cops until they have no other choice. Like, yeah, you know, some laws are fucked up, some cops are fucked up, but to just get into a, you know, you take a random cop, chances are that that's a good person just trying to make a fucking dollar. I mean, it's
amount
fucking
of bullshit
ridiculous
they put up with, and you're just sitting there with your stupid camera trying to make a YouTube video trolling them. You deserve to get clubbed in the goddamn face. I'm sorry. Live your own life. Worry about yourself. If you have kids, raise them to respect everybody, and you don't have to ever worry about the fucking police, and they won't ever have to worry about you. That's the way it goes.
I can't wait until one of these right to bear arms nuts walks into like a Chick-fil-A with an AK-47 and gets iced by an off-duty cop. Mm-hmm. Like, for real, that's.
Oh no! That could happen, and the people whose lives were just saved, they'd pull out their phones. They'd pull out their phones and point at the cop and be like, "Show me 3 forms of identification.
Show me your driver's license."
He only had 2 clips left. Like, it'd be ridiculous, man.
He only had one banana clip loaded.
It was only an automatic.
Oh my god! We'll move on. Kimbo Slice, apparently he's back in Bellator. You think he has any shot at success, or is this just a cheap money grab?
Oh man, Kimbo, I thought he was done, but recently he's done a lot, like in his off time, to earn my respect. I mean, the concern that he's shown, for Rick Grimes and his family and the rest of the survivors, like the way he cared for Rick's infant daughter while they were missing and separated as a group. What Kimbo did, it was inspirational. You could tell he really did care about that baby, and I'm just happy that he's gotten this opportunity to break away from that and go back to fighting, professional fighting. So I do believe in Kimbo. He is back. Shout out. He's going to run through everybody put in front of him like they were the Walkers. God bless his soul. He deserves every penny he's about to make, because he was broke and living on just fucking cans of chili. That's the word on the street.
That is the word. And I'll throw the same question at you for today's signing from the UFC. They signed Mirko Krokop. He tried his hand in Glory a little bit, but now he is apparently headed back to the UFC. I don't know if he's any better than he was when they cut him. This is obviously the UFC realizing their heavyweight division is way thinner than it needs to be. Krokop, is that the move? I don't know. I'll ask the same thing. Does he have any shot at success, or is this just a cheap money grab by Zuffa?
I was down at the gym earlier today, where Mirko Krokop works out. He was there training. He was throwing punches, and like dust was flying off the bag, and I was like, man, how old is this punching bag? He's like, no, it's my fists. There's dust coming off of his fists. He threw a kick. It took an hour for him to complete the rotation. But God bless him, he's back. The first thing I did was make sure that Stipe Miocic wasn't dead. I was like, why are they bringing Mirko back? Stipe must have died. But no, I guess they're both in it. I don't know. Maybe they should fight each other. Who cares? Krokop, it's all going to be a bunch of work, set up fights. Maybe. Man, I can't even name an opponent. I mean, he lost to Brendan Schaub. Word on the street.
Damn, he did lose to Schaub. I think a fight between Arlovsky and Krokop would be fun. Arlovsky has a fight coming up, right? Or did he just fight recently. I think he has a fight against Bigfoot. Yeah, no, that he beat Bigfoot. He's way out of Crow Cop's league. I guess he doesn't have a fight scheduled yet. But after beating Bigfoot, I don't think Crow Cop deserves a fight against Arlovsky, who now I'm sure is pretty up there in the UFC's heavyweight rankings. Let me check that. Yeah, he's currently number 7. So we'll see who Crow Cop gets now that he's back. And I guess unless you have a fight tip, let's move on to UFC Sweden.
Let's move on.
UFC Sweden. It's going to be in Stockholm, Sweden, this Saturday. I'll get you the start times in just one second here. It is headlined by a fight between I guess the best Swedish fighter we've ever seen, and Alex Gustafsson. I have the times here for you. It's Saturday. The early prelims start on Fight Pass at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. The Fox Sports 1 prelims start an hour later at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then the main card on Fox, the 4-fight main card, begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, like I said, on Big Fox. Really quickly to touch on a couple of fights on the prelims that I think should be fun. Neil Seery versus Chris Beal, the first fight on the card at flyweight. That will be a really fun fight. Chris Beal moving down a weight class. A fight at 205 between Nikita Krylov and Stanislav Nedkov, which no one's really looking at. That should be pretty fun. We have the Little Axe Ogle, Nico Musoke fighting Albert Tumanov. And I may as well just lump in the Akira Corsani Sam Cecilia bout on the main card, because I think that bout really doesn't match up as far as how big the fight is to the other three fights on the main card. Anything stand out to you, or should we just move to those 3 big fights?
There's absolutely nothing that no.
So our 3 big fights, we have 2 fights at 205 and a fight at middleweight between 2 guys who have previously fought at 205. The first fight is Phil Davis and Ryan Bader. You asked where Phil Davis was. Is he still in the UFC? He is back after taking a loss to Rumble Johnson. He's back to fight a staunch wrestler like himself, and this is a really interesting fight. Both of these guys are young. Davis is 30, Bader's 31, and they've both come close. They've both been in sort of that gatekeeper role where they get close and then they drop it. Bader losing fights to Jones, Ortiz, Machida, and Glover. Davis dropping fights to Rashad Evans and Rumble Johnson. Both of these guys, perennial top 10 at 205, just can't seem to crack that top 3, top 4. Who you got in this one? Let me pull up the odds, actually, because I'm not sure where Vegas is going. Phil's striking has just not looked good at all in the last few fights, while Ryan Bader seems to be able to piece up a B to C level fighter. He looked great against OSP last August, but against strikers like Glover and Machida, I think he was finished by strikes by both of them in the first or second round. Davis is a pretty sizable favorite. He's minus 250 here to Bader's plus 210. I guess Vegas likes the athleticism and speed of Davis compared to sort of just the bulky strength you have in Ryan Bader. Which way are you leaning here?
This fight, I honestly do not care who wins. It's totally a filler fight. In fact, I'm surprised it's the first time they've done it. I don't really... I honestly thought that Phil Davis and Ryan Bader had been either cut or retired from the UFC. I honestly thought that up until minutes ago on this very podcast. So if I have to call it right now, I think Phil Davis. But it'll probably be the most boring decision that we've seen all year. Shout out 2015, we're in the future, people. And shout out to Davey Boy Spears, the future of the world.
That's right. Shout out Davey Boy. Use the promo code DaveyBoy at DraftKings.com for 10% off the next game you play. That's DraftKings.com. The co-main event, Dan Henderson taking on Gegard Mousasi. I'm sort of surprised this fight is at middleweight. I feel like this is one of those fights where both guys would agree to just not torture themselves and have the fight at 205, but the fight is at 185. Both guys will have to cut. And you have Hendo, who he's dropped off a bit, but people never count out Dan Henderson. Even though, man, I'm looking at his record now. He was inching closer to that title fight after he beat Fedor in Strikeforce. The UFC brought him back. He beat Shogun, but since then he's 1-4. He lost to Lyoto via split decision, Rashad via split decision. Vitor wrecked him. He beat Shogun again, and then Cormier gave him that RNC in the third round. Gegard has had a better go of it his last 5 fights, 3-2. He beat OSP, Mike Kyle, and Strikeforce, and the UFC brought him over, and he's been 2-2 since. Beating Ilir Latifi and Mark Munoz, losing to Lyoto Machida and Jacare Souza. I'm calling the upset here. Dan is plus 325. Gegard is minus 400. For sure, the line should be closer than that. Because, yeah, Dan has not been doing well, but look who he's lost to. He lost close fights to Lyoto and Rashad. Got finished by Vitor, who was way on the sauce, and lost to a heavyweight, basically, and Cormier. And Gegard, since coming into the UFC, he beat Ilir and Mark Munoz. These 2 wins are not nearly of the caliber of a Henderson. So upset special, people. Bet if you can bet plus 300 or better on Dan, I would take it, because I think that's, even if he shouldn't win the fight, that's a great line. Basically, you quadruple your money betting on him. And yeah, I'm taking the old guy, the 44-year-old Dan Henderson.
Nah, Mousasi's gonna kill this man. He's gonna break him apart. This might even be Dan's last fight. And that's sad to say, but I mean, come on, they've taken everything. They've taken Dan Henderson's youth away from him, and they've taken his precious go-go juice. You know what I'm saying, people?
That's right.
It ain't the same anymore, man. And Mousasi, yeah, he's got his own issues, but he's still got enough left in the tank to take out Dan Henderson. But it will be an interesting fight. Just because they both have the same kind of fighting style where they don't give no fuck what. And so I'll be tuning in. I'm interested. But yeah, I'm Hendo, man. I believe that he's done, man. It's the endo, you know. Word on the street.
Word on the street. Yeah, Gegard, you know, one thing, yeah, he could be so much more popular if he just, like, this is one of the most boring guys. You know, you talk to him in an interview, and it's always, yeah, I trained hard for the event. My opponent's really good. I think I have what it takes to win the fight. Look, Gegard, you were born in Tehran, Iran. If you wanted to, you could be the biggest heel in the UFC. You could be the UFC's Iron Sheik. Oh my God, there's so much potential there. You are usually going to be fighting.
Play up the terrorist angle.
Yes, you are going to be fighting like names who are recognizable at middleweight and light heavyweight. Play up the terrorist angle. Play up something. Be a heel. You have so much heel potential. It bothers me.
Yeah, man. I'm going to bomb Dan Henderson. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha! I am
Stuff
going
like that. That one's free.
going
The
to
first
drop
one's free.
H-bomb on America. Ha 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 ha!
That's right. God bless him.
God bless him, people. This brings us to the main event: Alexander Gustafsson and Anthony Rumble Johnson. Betting wise, it is a little skewed. Not skewed wrong, but skewed. It's not very close. Gus is minus 265. Rumble, Vegas isn't giving that much of a chance. He's plus 225. They are giving him a chance, but not much of one. Gus is just a monster, man. He almost beat John Jones. I think Jones won rounds 1, 4, and 5. I think Jones won the fight, but Gus gave Jones the hardest fight of his career, and Gus is 7-1 in his last 8 fights, with the Jones fight being the only mark. It was the fight of the year in my eyes and a lot of other people's, but we haven't seen a lot of them since that John Jones fight. He had the John Jones fight September 2013, and since then the only fight he's had is Jimmy Manuwa last year, March 8th. He fought once in 2013, once in 2014. I hope we see more out of him in 2015, but he cannot sleep on Rumble Johnson, who I think was an underdog against Phil Davis. Everyone was saying it was either going to be a Rumble KO or more likely a Davis decision, and Rumble actually, his movement looked awesome, and he actually won the fight 30-27 over 15 minutes. Showed us he maybe does. It's not seen whether he can fight in a 5-round fight like his fight against Gus will be, but he definitely can hang in there for the first 15 minutes. That being said, Rumble, I think, can beat anyone in the division not named John Jones, Daniel Cormier, or Alex Gustafsson. I think he's the 4th or 5th best guy at 205. He and Rashad rounding out the top 5. But Gus is a motherfucker, and I'm going to be rooting for him just because I really want to see that rematch between John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. God, that is going to be a hell of a war. Yao, are you going for Rumble Johnson or Alexander Gustafsson?
I root for all black fighters solely because they're black just like me.
So I guess we have one Gustafsson, one Rumble. Ramses, you have to break the tie. It's the last topic of the night before we send it out. Who you got? Alex Gustafsson, Tony Johnson.
I have to agree with Yao. I believe that Tony Rumble will take it down. Alex Gustafsson, man, I believe that he suffered a lot of damage from the Jones fight. That's why we haven't seen too much. And because they're burying him because of, his criminal history and whatnot. You can't put the belt on that shit. It's tainted. It makes John Jones look like a choir boy, and John Jones was a choir boy.
Damn.
But yeah, man, I'm a suspicious man by nature, and right now, the chin of Alexander Gustafsson is on my suspect list, if you know what I'm saying. I believe that Rumble will knock him out, but if it goes deep, if it goes into round 3, it's all over for Rumble. He's got to close it out quick, and I think he'll at least be smart enough to figure that part out. It's got to be all or nothing right away, and that's it, man. That's it. I'm gonna go with Tony Rumble Johnson on this one. I'm done with Alexander Gustafsson. I don't want to see him fight John Jones again. That first fight, honestly, to me, it was corny. I stick by it. And that's all I have to say. Rumble all the way.
Huh? You're a fucking choir boy compared to me. A choir boy. Choir boy. Choir boy.
That's right, John Jones. You're nothing but a choir boy, and that's where we're going to leave you people till next week. Thank you so much for tuning into the MMA Podcast. Follow all of our friends, Ross Finkelstein, Mystery Yao, Alan, everyone. If you call in, our boy Technics, leave us some crazy voicemails, you son of a bitch, the Scottish Fedor. Who else? Man, just thank you for listening and downloading the show. And I say it every week, and it might come across flat because I say it so much, but honestly, everyone who follows us on Twitter and tweets us and listens to the show and leaves us positive shit, it is the reason we keep doing it. It's the reason we've done 117. It's the reason we will do hundreds more going forward, people. We're almost at our 3-year anniversary. If you love the show, I want you to go to a public area and try and steal a gun from a policeman, or tell a friend about the show if they like MMA. You can find us at themmapodcast.com. Tweet us at the MMA Podcast. Search the MMA Podcast on iTunes. Ramses, where can we follow you, and where can we follow the word on the street?
The Aunt Jimmy Show on Twitter. Follow me. And you got to show me 3 forms of ID. I am the real. I am the future of the world. And God bless everyone out there. Shout out, much love to my Katie Bear, my Lexi, and Lexi's mother, and
AMS. What up?
Yeah, Brooke in Vegas. Love you all, people.
Jen in Florida. What up, girl?
Gotta get up to get down. I'm out of here like John Jones in rehab. Word on the street.
Word on the street. I love you all. We'll see you next week. Be gone.
Tune into the MMA Podcast every Tuesday night.
Dr. Wild Style, always been a foul child. Will I, sucker? I be the coming like Noah.
The MMA Podcast, Jake is the host. And since Ramsey's been in a wheelchair, the Aunt Jimmy Show has been on a roll. I wanna say John Jones is a host, so I think that I'll pick up the phone and dial 213-457-3380. We got hot takes on the stove. You get blood on your clothes if you're sitting in the front row. I throw on my gi and then I lace the hoops. I'll have Yao lying down cause he ain't the truth. And if Alan wasn't a cop, I'd mention you. And shout out to Ross Finkelstein the Jew. Cause according to you, you're an MMA guru. Approved Bisbing lost his hands count Dooku. If you're a fancy boy, you get a 2-minute slot. Mystery wants a title shot. So listen to the MMA Podcast. Throw a high kick, but I block that. Call me Diaz, screaming George, where you at? I want the strap. But you know that I'll never tap. So listen to the MMA Podcast. Throw a high kick, but I block that. Call me Diaz, screaming George, where you at? I want the strap. And you know that I won't tap. Mystery. The MMA Podcast. Most of us just live and breathe this fighting shit. Shut up, Jake. Shut up, Jake.